Well, listen, why don't we, before we waste any, well, all right.
Before we waste any more of our listeners' time.
Yeah. Too late.
Yep.
This is the AT Banter podcast, a balanced and entertaining look at assistive technology, accessibility, and its importance in people's lives. Join Rob Minot, Ryan Fleury, and Steve Barclay as they banter with people around the world about anything and everything regarding assistive technology and the disability community. Now, on with the show.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of AT Banter.
Banter.
I am Rob Minot.
And I am Ryan Fleury.
And that was my line, sir.
Yeah, but I snagged it.
You did. After 123 episodes,
I finally know who I am.
No Steve Barclay today. He's busy.
He working.
So it's just the two of us. And a surprise guest, apparently.
Yeah, this was a guest.
I don't know. I'm not prepared at all for today. At all. I did zero preparation, everybody. So
that's right, and it's really kind of because I last minute had to scramble to find another guest for this week's show, and I thought, who better than a guest we've had on previously to get caught up with. So I reached out to our friend, Mr. Tommy Edison.
Ooh,
and
really?
He is going to be joining us.
No way. Well, Tommy Edison, the blind film critic himself.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, heck. Oh, well, geez. We talked to him ages ago.
We did.
Way
back on episode 30.
Yeah, he was running a YouTube channel at the time where he reviewed movies through the lens, no pun intended, of a blind person.
Yep.
And very funny guy, very, very personable. And I mean, I know he actually, I think there's a couple of YouTube channels that he had going at the time. He was also doing sort of an Ask Me Anything kind of a YouTube channel where he answered silly questions from people.
Yep.
So that's great. Okay, well, that'll be cool. That'll be fun.
Nice to catch up with him again.
Aye. Excellent. All right. Well, we're doing that, of course, a little bit later. But for right now,
we got news.
Yeah. So did you? Well, I guess I don't know. Did you watch this event, or did you just hear about it?
I was out doing training.
Yeah, I know.
So it really sucks because I wanted to watch it this morning.
Well, yeah.
Why don't you bring me up to speed?
Oh, no, I'm the wrong person to bring you up to speed. I was busy doing work.
Well, do you have a list of what they announced?
Yeah. Okay. So today, Google have made some announcements. They had a big Google event, much like Apple has their Apple event every once in a while. And they announced some new products. Ryan, I thought you would be excited.
Well, last week's show we talked about some new Amazon Echo devices. So we knew Google was going to have something soon.
Yeah, I'm kind of going over the list here. There's not anything terribly exciting, especially in the realm of AT.
Right.
There's a few minor things, I guess, but really it was all about the Pixel 3. Which is, of course, the newest generation of phone.
Right. Well, I think I also saw that they do have finally a Google branded or Google certified Google Home device with a screen on it.
That's right. It's called the Google Home Hub.
Right.
And that, yes, it has a screen. But essentially it's the same thing as a Google Home except with a screen.
It is, but I also did read a couple of people that we follow on Twitter who were saying there are accessibility things you can turn on, like the TalkBack screen reader and some other functionality as well. So it might actually be interesting to find a review, an accessible review that somebody's done once they get it, and kind of go over the points of that review. That would be
interesting. We should actually do that. Mm-hmm. The one thing that is different about it, though, as opposed to the Echo Show, which is Amazon's device, is that the Home Hub does not have a camera. So you would not be able to do video calling on it.
I wonder why they chose that.
Well, I think probably part of it is privacy concerns. I think that they thought maybe that people would be freaked out about having a camera.
But you can do that on your phone. Your phone has a camera. This is just a bigger example of that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did they give pricing?
So the Home Hub, yeah, they did. The Home Hub is $149 American.
Okay.
So
it's going to be in line with anything Amazon has then.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, these guys are looking at what each other are doing in that sense, and I mean, with the exception of Apple, no one is crazy enough to price something a lot more expensive than the other.
Yeah.
So, and even Apple, has gone back and created versions of their devices that fall more in line with the pricing on the Amazon and the Google devices. So.
Right. All right, what's next?
Next, the Pixel Slate.
This is their competitor to the Microsoft Surface, I believe.
That's right.
Kind of like their 2-in-1 tablet.
Yes. Now, what's interesting is it's Google's first Chrome OS. It's not using Android. It is using Chrome OS. Yeah, I thought that would get your reaction to that.
That could be a big mistake.
I think that's a little bit of a gamble on their part.
That is a gamble, I think.
I don't know how people are going to feel about that.
Well, and maybe maybe the education market will adopt it because of the whole Chromebook in education. Maybe this will fit into that niche. But for Joe Blow end user, I don't know. It's going to have to be pretty efficient at how it does things.
Yeah.
Taking a bite out of that Surface or the iPad market's not going to be easy.
No, it's not. And they are starting at $600 American.
Wow.
So it's not...
That's in line with the Microsoft Surface. Because I believe the Surface starts at like 6 or 7 as well. But the iPads, like you can buy, $300 iPads now.
But that's also, and if you want a keyboard...
That's on top of that.
It's on top of that, which is another $200 American.
So they're lining up with the Surface.
So... I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest with you. I mean,
well, my biggest concern is,
now how accessible is Chrome OS?
Well, and that's where I was going to go with this. Years ago, when we had a Chromebook that had the Chrome OS, you had to use the screen reader called ChromeVox, and I tried to learn it, and maybe I just couldn't wrap my head around the way the screen reader worked because it was very different from any other screen reader I'd ever played with. Maybe I wasn't used to the Chrome OS itself, but I just found it really complicated and confusing. The keyboard commands didn't make a lot of sense to me. In the last few years, the one nice thing that Google has done is they've allowed Android apps to actually run on Chrome. So maybe with this Slate running Chrome, does it say anything there about you can run Android apps? Because if you can...
No, it doesn't say anything about that.
That would make it even more flexible and functional. But just apps for Chrome, I think you're really limiting what you're going to be able to do with this device.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of wondering... I'm assuming that the education market is probably...
Yeah, docs, sheets, and slides.
The demographic for this. I have to assume.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know why they would have made the decision to dump Android.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting. We'll have to watch that.
Yep. What else do we got here?
What was the pricing on the Pixel 3? In line with the new iPhones, like $1,000?
Okay, here we go. The Pixel 3 starts at $800 American, and the Pixel 3 XL will be $900 American.
Oh, okay. So yeah, probably like the iPhones. Probably $1,200 Canadian for the XL if you want the XL.
Yep. Yeah, and then close to $1,000 for the.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and in terms of the features, again, at this point, I feel like people's eyes kind of just roll in the back of their head when they talk about a lot of the new features on a lot of the new phones, because
all they ever talk about is maybe slightly increased battery life, but camera,
and
how it's better than the Apple.
That's right.
And Apple says no, we're better than the Google.
Yeah,
it's all about camera, and maybe for OCR and stuff for us who are blind visually impaired, that's great. Better camera, better OCR.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we'll include the a link to this article in the show notes if people are really curious enough to go in and see all the details about what they announced. But
there'll be lots of YouTube reviews in the next few days as well.
But I mean, honestly, I feel like I know we don't, and I feel like probably a lot of our audience doesn't either. We don't give a crap about the new phones for the new generation of phone unless there's something really there that is really going to drive forward.
The only thing I've been thinking about lately, because I went from the original Moto X to a Samsung Galaxy S5 to my LG G6, which is my current Android phone, and the one and only reason I would ever consider going directly to a Google branded phone like the Pixel is so that I get updates faster when they come out from the manufacturer. Because I can literally wait 6 months for a new Android version to come out to my phone. And I'm so far behind on new features and new functionality that, by the time I get it, there's new phones out again.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Right?
I could totally see that. That's really a frustrating part of
the Google ecosystem.
Yeah. It really is. And they need
so fragmented.
They need to fix that.
And they are slowly. They have a project called Project Treble, which a lot of new phones are adopting now, so they'll get the updates much, much faster. But again, there's so much more choice when it comes to Android. You've got Lenovo's and Motorola's and LG's and Samsung's and Huawei's and, there's so many different people out there. Like, how do you get them all updated at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be really challenging.
Yeah, it must be, but it's not our problem. Just fix it, damn it.
Or just go to iOS.
We're just a consumer. No, don't go to iOS.
That's my next thought. I have a year left on my contract, and I'm seriously considering it because I'll get updates right away.
You're insane.
Yeah, well,
you're
we'll see.
You're just, that's insanity. If you go back to an iPhone,
I might.
Well, you know what? That will actually be good for the show because that way we'll get a balanced look at, because we'll have the Android side of the room and the iOS side of the room, and we can just bicker back and forth.
Yep, bicker.
Okay, so what else happened today?
I don't know if it was today. Is that it for Android news or Google news?
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Well, the only other news I wanted to talk about is a few days ago. This is October 9th, the day we're recording this episode. So back on, I think October 4th, Microsoft released Windows 10 version 1809, their latest fall update, feature update, that normally gets pushed out to everybody. Well, it started getting pushed out to people. And then, lo and behold, people started saying it deleted all their files.
Really?
Yep. So the update would get installed, and it would delete all their files without them knowing it, without any notification saying it was deleting them. It would reboot and come up, and everything's gone. So Microsoft has now pulled that update.
Really?
Yeah. So what I find really interesting is this
How did
that get through?
Yeah.
Microsoft has millions of what they call people in the insider program that are beta testing these builds on a daily and weekly basis when they get released. How did this get missed?
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
And this
crazy.
is, there was a problem with their last update as well.
Yeah.
Yee.
Yeah. So I think they're just trying to be too aggressive and get this stuff out the door. And I think having 2 feature updates a year is a little too much pressure. I think they need to focus a little bit more, make sure it's ready. And there's going to be bugs, don't get me wrong. Something comes out and Bluetooth's not working. Because think about it, Microsoft is this behemoth that has computers out there still running Windows 7, computers that really shouldn't be running Windows 10 but are.
Right.
Like there's so many different variations of Windows out there. HPs, Dells, Lenovo's, Toshibas, It's just like the Android ecosystem. There's so many they have to test that bugs are going to get through, but this one should have been caught.
Yeah, I mean, there's bugs, but then there's like bugs, and that's a huge bug.
Yeah. And somebody did release, I think, a fix that you could go in and get your stuff back, but still, like that shouldn't have happened.
Oh God! Well, that's like me. I mean, I can't even do an update right now. I mean,
Yeah, you're 2 versions back.
I'm 2 versions behind now. So, I mean, I'm thinking of trying this new version. Well, I was until you just told me that.
Well, it's funny
I guess I'll wait.
As soon as I saw that it got pulled, Actually, no. As soon as I saw it was released on the 4th, I set both my computers to delay the update for 30 days. Just in case.
Smart move.
Just in case. Because I usually, as soon as I see it's released, I usually download the ISO and I update both my computers down here right away.
Yeah, me too.
And this time I was like no, I'm going to wait. So we'll see. But I thought that was
well. I mean, sure. I mean, obviously they'll fix it eventually.
For sure.
It'll be fine. But I mean, I don't know. Hopefully they.
Well, and it didn't happen to everybody. You know, one of our friends of the show, Jonathan Mosen, said he installed it and had no problems at all. So it didn't happen to everybody.
That's scary though. I mean, they got to be a little bit more careful on what they're releasing to the wild and what they're not. So. But
you know, people should be excited because there's a lot of enhancements to narrator and accessibility in this build. So.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Better web browsing, more familiar keyboard layouts, as if you're used to using JAWS or System Access or NVDA. You know, similar keyboard layouts, keyboard structure, set of proprietary narrator type stuff. So, yeah, it's looking good, sounding good. I may have to give narrator a shot again.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But. The one last thing we should talk a little bit about is over the weekend, Google came clean.
Oh, yes.
They got their hands caught in the cookie jar. And I guess they've admitted that they had a bit of a security breach, in the spring?
Yeah, all I saw was that there was a bug that was found in Google Plus that affected a whole bunch of people who were using that social network.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And it was very similar from the sounds of it to the Cambridge Analytica hoo-ha that happened to Facebook earlier in the year, in the sense that this bug, I guess, allowed third-party apps to see not only your stuff, but all your friends' information as well when you installed it.
That's crazy.
So, basically they got burned by the exact same thing. And as a result, as of, I guess 30 days, I think they're basically shutting down operations of Google Plus. They just won't have access to it anymore. It's done.
Well, and it's about time. It's long overdue. You know, nobody talks about Google Plus. You know, there may still be some people using it, but you don't hear people using it.
Well, here's a conspiracy theory for you.
Okay.
Do you think that they kind of, I mean, obviously this breach was a real thing, but do you think that they kind of are using that as an excuse to get out of Google Plus? As an excuse, like, because otherwise they're going to have to admit that Google Plus was a huge failure and shut it down.
I think it probably goes back a little bit further than that, because earlier this year, Google was fined $5 billion or something by the EU for privacy concerns or something. So I think some of this may even go back to that. You know, it sounds like the EU has a lot of ability, I guess, to dictate to anybody else around the world, if you're going to bring your products into our country, you need to follow these rules. And if you don't, you're out.
Right.
And, you know, fines are one thing, but telling these people like Google and fining them, like, yeah, $5 billion, not a big hit to Google. Same with Facebook going in front of, what was it, the Senate or one of the committees in the U.S. explaining what happened with their Facebook Analytica breach. The EU has a lot of force in making change in these companies and the way they do business. So I think it goes back further than that. I don't just think it's a matter of, are we going to do this because it's the right thing to do, or they just don't want to get caught. I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I guess all that it means to us is that now we don't ever have to worry about updating our Google Plus page ever again. All right. Well, hey, you know what? If that's it for news, I want to talk to Tommy.
It's been a while, and we know he's got energy, so let's bring him on.
This is exactly what we need on the first day back after a long weekend.
Yep. We are talking to Mr. Tommy Edison.
We are.
It goes all the way back to episode 30.
Oh, did you look it up?
I did look it up. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Way back.
30.
On.
We were still knee-high to grasshoppers.
That's
back
right.
then. We had no idea what we're doing.
We still don't.
Like now
But we're still here.
Thank goodness.
Well, I'm glad you could join us. I know it was short.
Oh, it's nice to be here. It's great to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Tommy. So Tommy Edison, the YouTube superstar. I don't even know what else.
Well, that's why we're playing catch up with Tommy, because a lot has changed since we've had him on the show.
Is that right?
Yeah, bunch of stuff has changed actually.
Well, let's dive into this. What's been going on with you over the past 90 episodes?
Well, let's see. The next day, a couple of things have happened. We actually stopped the YouTube channel this year. We stopped making videos.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we sure did. We you know what?
Now what?
Listen, YouTube's been very good to us, and it was a lot of fun, but the grind was getting to be a little much, and we were sort of running out of ideas and things to do and all that kind of thing. So, you know what? We just said, well, you know what? We'll just back right up right here. This will be it. And, we made a final, we sort of had a final video that was already shot, that Ben put together. It was all sort of bits and bobs from, the past year or so. And it's, that was sort of how we say goodbye. And then we, put up a little post about it as well all over social media. And so, but it's been great. And like, YouTube's afforded me the opportunity to see the world. So sure. I got no complaints.
Well, now let me ask a follow-up question. And I don't know, this might be a bit of a sensitive topic, but because I know that YouTube has gone through a lot of changes in terms of, how they're monetizing videos and their copyright policies, all that sort of stuff. Did any of that factor into it at all, or it was just basically you guys were just kind of felt done?
No, sure, of course, some of that factored into it as well. We actually did a video where we were asking YouTube all sorts of questions about what was happening with our views and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And they'd never gotten back to us. So, we figured we'd make a little noise with that one and see what happened, but, not too much. So yeah, that was certainly a contributing factor. But, again, we sort of just went out on our own terms, and it's very nice. And I've been very lucky. I've been doing a lot of speaking now. That's kind of my job, as I go around and speak and talk about diversity and talk about overcoming adversity and just talking about growing up as a blind person in a sighted world, and that's great fun. I travel all over the country and the world too to do it. So it's been great.
Well, where am I going to get my blind film critics from now?
Well, listen, I don't know. You know what? Here's how you can do it. No. You can sponsor it.
Yeah, right.
We'll come back and do it. If there was this, we did that back in 2016. That was the thing that brought me to Southern California. Actually, was that we did get a sponsor for the Blind Film Critic, and we hadn't done reviews for a long time. Mm-hmm. And that summer we did 8 of them. We were sponsored by an energy drink, so it was very cool. Nice. And it was nice to be able to do the movie reviews again and stuff. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, then let's talk about the speaking engagements and what you're talking about and what's your passion.
Well, sure. You know what? It's I always say it's. I get to go on stage and talk about my favorite subject in the entire world, and that is me.
Right.
You know what, though? It's what I know best. Yep. Honestly, it is. And it's just really nice, to be able to go out and tell people about what because as you may have been, I know I worked in radio for a long, long time. Right. I was a disc jockey, and I would eventually be a traffic reporter for 19 years. I stayed on the radio doing the traffic mornings and afternoons. So talking about that and trying to get jobs and stuff, and trying to break into the business and all that kind of stuff. What else do I talk about? My childhood growing up and the things that my folks had to do to get me sort of matriculated into the to get me mainstream, because that's how I grew up. I was mainstreamed. I did not go to school for the blind or visually impaired or any of that sort of thing. I went to public school until the 9th grade, and then that was a bit, and then they said, no, let's do something else, and so they sent me off to private school. So but that so that was high school, and I talk about that and just growing up in a sighted world and how Wow, my God. I mean, there's all sorts of stories about it. I mean, one of the things I'll tell you that was fascinating. Do you know? So when I worked in radio, when I first started, it was a giant secret that I was a blind person. I never told anybody because I didn't need to.
Right.
And to be able to go on the radio and do that. And so what I was literally doing was hiding on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
As you know what I mean? As a blind person, I was literally hiding. And nobody knew. Nobody, well, you don't sound blind to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was what I did. And then I actually, there's a fun little story. So I was doing, by this point, I'm a traffic reporter. I'm working mornings and afternoons. I'm working, it's 5 to 9 and 3 to 7, Monday through Friday. And we were doing these school visits in the morning sometimes. After the shift, we go to a school and visit the kids and talk about radio and stuff. And kids would always ask me questions about being blind and stuff, but I don't know. I just know, okay. I never put 2 and 2 together. And then we bring back sound from the kids and stuff, saying good morning, John and Tommy and stuff like that. And then they can tell their parents and, it's sort of a way to try and grow the audience. Right. So we were doing these things and a reporter from a local papers contacted my partner and said, look, this is fascinating what you guys do. I'd love to do a story on your school visits. And yeah, okay. And it never occurred to me that this would be something that anybody ever be interested in. But she was like, oh my God, you're a blind person doing the traffic. This is fascinating. How do you know? And so that became the story. And that was when I came out as a blind person on the radio for the very first time. My partner was like, can I read the story? And I said, yeah, I guess. I'm a little worried about it. It's a well-kept secret. He goes, no, don't worry about it. I'll take good care of it. And I said, fair enough. So that was how I came out. And that's just one of the stories that I talk about in my presentation and stuff. And it's great. It's a nice time, and they're fun stories, I think.
Now, are you sort of traveling all over the country doing your motivational speaking? Yeah,
I go wherever anybody wants me to go, I'll go. No, seriously, wherever if I don't care where it is, I always say it's 2 things that I can't stand doing: traveling and being on stage. You know what I mean? So yeah, I go anywhere. And if you ever want to book it and stuff, you can just blindfilmcritic.com is that's sort of the headquarters where all the stuff is. So that's where you can find me and stuff. And I'm still busy on social too. I'm still busy on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that too. I'll tell you what's funny. Today, the day that we're taping this here, is actually the 7th anniversary of the first videos we ever put up on the Tommy Edison XP channel. Today was the first time we put videos up and started that channel from scratch.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it was nerve-wracking. I didn't know what was going to happen if, people were going to like this stuff too, as well as the movie reviews that they seemed to be enjoying. And, we got lucky and people enjoyed it. So it was great.
Now, have you considered doing any sort of either any other media or any other, say, video platform? I know there's a couple out there. I mean, obviously they're not going to be as gangbuster as YouTube, or have you thought about maybe even just doing a podcast or something different other than a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I don't know. I do a couple of friends of mine. They're dear old radio friends of mine. I've known them forever, and they were they actually do a thing, like an internet radio station they do at night. So I do that a couple of days a week and just play the hits, and it's sort of fun, and it sort of keeps that that radio thing in me alive. You know what I mean? Because I've always loved it and always will, and it's unfortunately it's sort of a dying art now, the art of the disc jockey, but. I still love it. And it's fun. I just, play records and play other radio stations, jingles and stuff. And it's, it's just nutty, it's very old school. It's like it used to be. And no rules, absolutely no rules. I don't curse. I let the records curse. I do not. But it's a lot of fun. So that's, on Mondays and Thursdays, it's the showgram. Now, and it's sorry, someone just texted me. Forgive me. There you go. Thank you. Goodbye. Yeah, so that's that's one of the things that I'm doing. And as far as doing, I don't know. Maybe, who knows? Look, I never say never, right? Never say never. So you never know. But I don't think we'll come back to YouTube in any sort of a capacity to do anything like that. Because we did it all. You know what I mean? We did tons of stuff. I think I'm the first blind person on YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure of it. And that's pretty cool company. You know what I mean? That's a nice place to be.
Sure.
That's a nice thing to have done, you know?
Well,
and open the door for lots of other, there's tons of other blind YouTubers now. They're doing it. And you know what? Good for them. Good for you guys.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's great that it gives a sense of community, and it gives people a platform that they can, actually, talk to other people.
Absolutely.
But it's like that wise man once said, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them and know when to walk away, right?
And know when to run. You know what? He couldn't make chicken, but he actually had a chicken franchise. Did you know that? Kenny Rogers Roasters here in the U.S.
No, I didn't.
Was a real thing back in the late 80s, early 90s, around the same time as Boston Market was opening. Kenny Rogers tried the chicken game. I never had it. But I understand it was horrible.
Poor guy. Well, it's funny. I actually just saw him recently in a video with, he sort of teamed back up with Dolly Parton, and I guess they were sitting around talking, but oh my God, that guy has had some work.
Oh yeah.
He, I swear they just grabbed all the skin and just, oh geez, he's odd looking now.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Well, listen, he had a ton of hits, man. A ton of hits.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
And a couple of times, right? With the first edition, he had a couple back in the, Ruby, of course, and Something's Burning, right? Just checked in to see what condition my condition was in, all that stuff. Yep. And then he comes back and starts with the hits, Find Time to Leave Me, Lucille, Lady, all that stuff, Coward of the County, all that, boom, 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 just The Gambler. Tons and tons of hits for him.
He had a good time in the 70s and 80s, for sure.
Awesome, boy! I'll take you. And I was in the stream, giant for him and Dolly Parton, written by the Bee Gees. Did you know that?
I did not know that either.
Yep, Bee Gees wrote that one. I know. See that? That's my other thing. I was a giant music fan growing up. I never really opened too many school books, but boy, oh boy, I can tell you just about anything you want to know about rock and roll.
Yep, it's amazing what the brain contains, and what it holds on to, and what it decides to just let go.
Yep. I know. I can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday, but I can remember. I can rattle off Kenny Rogers. It's like nobody's business.
We should do a podcast on
more than you want to know about Kenny Rogers. Forgive me.
No.
Everything like that that refreshed my memory. I remember all that stuff. We're old folks like you.
Nah, you're welcome.
What else can we talk about?
Anything you like.
Well, what else have you been up to? It's been.
I'm here. Ask me anything. AMA, everybody.
Oh, damn.
It's been like a year and a half since we've had you on, so
I know
there's got to be a lot of changes,
Well, there's, what? I look different. I've lost a bunch of weight.
Really?
I do. Yeah, I've lost a bunch of weight, and I started running too.
You really?
Yeah.
Running scared?
I started running.
Running because
I'm into it. I'm really into it. I like it a lot. I do. See, I hate to, when people talk about, running and working out and stuff. And then back in the day, I was like, fun, why are you talking like that? But, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool accomplishment, and I now run 6 miles a day, 3 times a week. And it's amazing. It's just, it makes me nuts. That middle half hour of it, the first 15, the last 15 are fine. But those middle 15s, boys, that's a long, from 15 to 45 is a long road. That's a long way away, but boy, oh boy, you hit 45 and you're in the home stretch, man. It's all good. So yeah, that's one of the things I've been doing. So I really enjoy it.
So now, do you go to a gym? Like, are you on a treadmill? Like, where are you running?
No, I just I have a treadmill in my house. So I've always had one. My mom got one years and years ago, and I was like, man, that always seems like a cool thing. That I'd sure like to get. So she bought me one, and it was always a coat rack or whatever forever. And then I just, I came back from California and just started, using it. I was like, I'm going to just try this and just walk on it for an hour. So it started out with 2 30-minute miles, and then it got to 3 20s, 4 15s, 5 12s, now 10 6s. And that's, I just figured, I'll just keep going up. I just, and I found it's a pretty comfortable spot now at 6 miles an hour, 6.2 miles an hour. It feels good. And I just bang it out 3 times, just boom, boom, boom.
Now, have you changed your diet as well, or are you just exercising?
Yeah, so big time. Yeah. I don't drink beer anymore. I don't. I hardly eat red meat. I'm mainly eating chicken and fish. That's about all I eat. And it's great. So I've lost, as I said, I've lost a ton of weight, but I'm right back to where I should be. I'm like at the right weight for my height, I think. So
yeah, I got to work on that.
It's really good. It's fun. So don't mind me. That was just the train going, pulling up here too. I'm just sitting outside because it's nice out. So if you heard that, that's what it was.
Have you got a Google Home yet?
Or an Amazon Echo?
You know what? I got an Amazon Echo. Someone gave it to me. And I was curious to see how it works. So I set it up. But it freaks me out. I don't, I'll use it and stream stuff off it and stuff. Then I just unplug it as soon as I'm done because I don't want to listen to you, So yeah, and as far as the Google one now, and what's this the Facebook portal now? You see this?
Yeah.
There's this new camera now that can actually follow you around the room.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Do you really think people are going to adopt Facebook after all the fiascos and media leaks and stuff? Security breaches?
I sure hope not. It boggles my mind what they've been doing. But you see, that's it. I mean, that's why it's free, because they sell everything. That's why it's free, because they just sell it. All the information, they just sell it to whomever wants it. So, look, Facebook's been very good for me. It's been very helpful for all the things that we've been doing and stuff. But at the same time, I don't think I'd... I don't know. I wouldn't trust it with my information.
Well, sure. I mean, it just came out over the weekend. I don't know, Ryan, if you heard the story, but Google finally,
Plus.
Google finally admitted that they had
50 million
similar
people.
There was a bug in Google Plus. Yeah,
the social media thing that they were trying, the Google Plus, got hacked back in the spring.
Yeah. That's right.
And they didn't say a word about it because they were afraid that Congress would come in and start to regulate them.
Well, sure. So they were afraid to get called to the principal's office like Facebook did with the whole Cambridge Analytica.
That's right.
So
that's exactly right.
They played it smart and just didn't say anything. But now they're kind of getting
move. That's a good plan, everybody.
You know what? It works for a lot of third graders. And they just I'm just going to shut up and not say anything. I'm gonna let Charlie go to the principal's office. I'm not going there.
Yep. I'm staying clean.
But I mean, as a result, I guess they're just shutting down Google Plus in terms of the consumer.
All done.
It never got serious anyway, right?
No, for sure. That affects exactly 0.0 people, right?
Yeah. Nobody was using Google Plus. It never caught on. No. It was never those circles and stuff. Remember, you had to your friends circle and all that stuff. I don't know. Right? Wasn't that it was? It was friend circles, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So, I never got caught up in that one.
No, but it does raise an interesting point. You wonder when the day, or if the day is going to come when there is going to be a security breach around these digital assistants. I mean, they're so ubiquitous right now. They're on everything from your microwave to earbuds to, the list is just growing and growing. And you got to wonder if the day is going to come when there's going to be some sort of a security breach or some sort of a hack.
I'll tell you what, what I'd like? Here's what I'd like. I would like the opportunity to opt out. In other words, we don't have to, if you don't want to do it like this, you don't have to, and it can just be your own thing and you can just opt out and still use Facebook and use Twitter and everything you want to do. But your information is not going to get sold and shared and all that kind of stuff. I think you should be able to opt out.
Yeah, I really feel like that was the one big mistake that they made early. And it wasn't, certainly wasn't just Facebook. I think it was companies in general who were just started, it was the Wild West, and they just, started data mining, and they data mined absolutely everything that they could. And they weren't real super transparent about what information they were sharing. They kept it all very, hidden. Or at least, I guess, not hidden. Hidden isn't exactly fair, but they didn't make that information very easy to find.
No. It's like when the iPhone came out, right? And then it's tracking you. But it sort of has to use, all the different, the location services and things like that. So it's just tracking you, but it's not. I don't think it's keeping. I don't know. They say it is. I don't know, but. That was a thing, but it's sort of obvious, because all these location-based services, of course, is following you, But Facebook and all these guys, man, I don't know. I'm fascinated to see what happens. what comes up in the, I'm so sorry, but can I do this? I think I can.
Speech off.
There we go. Speech off. Thank you. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it is. It's going to be an interesting time going forward, and I feel like hopefully these guys have learned their lesson.
I don't think so.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that's bugged me is, and that I really don't like, is that they're silencing people, and that I have a problem with that too. You say what you want about Alex Jones, whatever. Whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he should still be allowed to say it. Yeah, well, that's why you don't start with anybody. You let people speak freely. It's okay. It's just words. And here's the thing about the internet was designed so television and radio back in the day were called uninvited signals into the home. And so these needed to be regulated, right? And you needed to watch the language, all that kind of stuff. But with the internet, you choose everything you want to see. Nothing's coming at you. You choose it all, don't you?
Yep.
It's designed for you to choose. So I don't see how they can take anybody off it. Alex Jones hasn't showed up in my feed all uninvited.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
It's true. It is true. And, for as much of a crackpot as he is, you have to ask the question, where censorship begins and where hate speech begins, and because it's a very fine line. And, I'm kind of with you. Like, again, I'm no fan of what he does and says, and I certainly understand, some of the ridiculously inflammatory things that he said, especially around, and hurtful things that he said that really, hurt people. But I mean, I don't know, but I don't know that the solution is silencing him.
No, of course, that's never the solution to anybody. You don't silence people, not in this country anyway.
That's right.
It's the First Amendment is very clear here in the U.S. So I don't know, man. And these tech companies, in my opinion, I'll give you my own little theory why they choose to do it this way is because television's dying. Television and radio are dying, and they need to control the narrative somehow. So they'll do it this way and take some opposing voices down.
Right.
That's what it looks like to me. I don't know. I'm nobody.
The face of media, you're right, is absolutely changing. And
it's changing. Look, I'll give you a fun TV fact. This is a fun one. This is a great one to put it into perspective for you. And remember, I'm an old radio guy, and it breaks my heart to tell you these things, but here it is. In the height, as some people say, which always makes me laugh, of Jay Leno's popularity, he was getting roughly 6 to 8 million viewers a night. Okay? Nowadays, here in 2018, actually, this is probably from 2017. So as of last year, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and Steve Colbert were sharing 6 to 8 million viewers a week. Yeah. So that kind of puts it into perspective for you a little bit.
Yeah.
And let you know where it's at, you see? And so people are leaving it in droves because everything's on demand. You don't have to sit and wait for a show anymore. You just go to YouTube and watch anything you like, anytime you like.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely true. It's completely altered our consumption habits, and the fact that they're still fighting it. I think is eventually they're just going to become dinosaurs and they're just going to die off. I mean, we're seeing some signs that they are embracing it. I mean, CBS has. It's all, what is it called? All access.
Yeah.
CTV has CTV Go up here, and there are apps that you can access. Our cable
and have things on demand, and it's I got you.
Yeah,
but it's still it's figure it out, people. I mean, like radio. What are they going to do with all these sticks? What are they going to do with all these stations?
Yes,
because there's tons of them, and I listen to a lot of radio because. I just, I'm a radio guy, so I'm fascinated to hear what people are doing.
Right.
And it's, down here, it's all national contests now. It's all, text the keyword money, that's the way the radio contesting works now. And it's just, no more local stuff. It's tough. So we'll see, look, in my opinion, you have to do something different with it. You have to do with radio what on-demand music cannot do. And that is be the entertainment part. It's what's between the records.
Right.
Be an interesting talk or do something, figure out something, because you got this thing and it works. And so you do something interesting, people show back up for it. I'm convinced of it.
Well, it'd be really interesting to look at the terrestrial radio numbers, the listeners of local radio stations, and then look at some of the more popular stations online and see what their listenership is, because I bet you the online stations are far surpassing the local stations, and I don't know how it's even economical for local stations to stay on board anymore. You got traffic every 15 minutes, you got them playing this.
And why are you doing the traffic every why do they do traffic on television? That I never understood.
Yeah,
why? You're home. By the time you get out to the to the 805 or whatever the hell it is, it's going to be different.
That's right.
Yeah. You don't need to show the bloody traffic on telly, and now you don't have to do it on the radio. You don't have to do the news anymore in the morning. You don't have to do any of those sort of benchmark things. It's all, you have it all on your phone. So now you can just do a show.
So everybody go listen to Howard Stern.
Well, they did. But now he's over on Sirius, and so he's talking to a much smaller audience.
Yeah. I'm surprised they're actually still in existence, personally.
I beg your pardon?
I used to subscribe to Sirius, and I'm surprised they actually still have a business model. That
Me too. Well, you see, they just bought Pandora.
Yeah. And
so I did not know that.
Nobody can figure out why that is either. Maybe it's for the audience, but
I think that's what they want to do is, be able to offer on-demand music. But if it's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be
fee-based, though, again.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It seems like a weird purchase to me, but.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are obviously, a little bit more radio savvy than I am. And I haven't really looked into this lately, but because I remember like 5, 6, 7 years ago when Sirius first started to really gain some traction, there was this real talk about terrestrial radio was kind of doomed.
Yep.
And satellite radio was where it was going to be. What is kind of the state of that these days?
Well, listen, I don't have it. My girlfriend does, and I've listened to it a bunch. And here's what I can tell you about it. They're playing all the really. So what they do in radio, they do a lot of what they call research. So they'll test songs to see how they work.
Right.
Just because you want to play for the lowest common denominator, right? You want to get the most bang for your buck. So you want to play the records that test the best, right? That's essentially what it is. And Sirius XM plays all records that test well. They don't play any of that weird oddball stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I find that sort of strange. I mean, come on. We're paying $14 a month or $15 a month for whatever, It's okay. Play some weird things.
Yeah,
and they really don't. It's all sort of safe.
Yeah, and they do a lot of artist spotlight, which is pretty cool because you can't really get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just like tuning into a terrestrial station. You got your 70s, 80s. If you want country, you go to country.
Yep.
You can just go.
You want classic rock? There's classic rock. You want the blend. You want the the pulse, all that stuff, the hits. The dance. It's all
Yeah.
But they're all sort of tested. Everything, all those channels is all researched.
And again, it costs more than it does through Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, any of these other services. That
sure. Look, TuneIn's free.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you get the premium for $10 a month, but
right.
all the rest of them, Spotify is what, $10 a month, man.
Yeah.
You can't, and Sirius is 15.
And with Sirius, some of the stations still got ads. You still got commercials.
Absolutely, and the audio quality on those radios is terrible.
Yeah.
It's like a 96-bit stream or something. It's low.
Yeah, it's not crystal clear at all.
No, it's online. If you get the online package, it sounds much brighter and cleaner and better.
Yeah.
I used to get it a long time ago on the top of Dish Network television here in the U.S.
Right.
They'd give you the Sirius music channels, and they sounded perfect because they were, it wasn't coming through their lousy little player. It was coming through,
the streaming
my satellite box, and it sounded brilliant, perfect.
Yeah, no, it's interesting times for sure. There's so many sources for music or information now that, it's a wonder that local cable companies, phone companies,
I know,
TV stations are still making a go of it.
Makes me want to get a little 500 watt or maybe a 1,000 watt day timer and sign it on and just play top 40 and just see what happens.
Well,
do the last contest and do the don't say hello game and just blow it out and then just put it to bed.
Well, it's funny. It makes me wonder if there is really sort of a bit of a cultural divide between sort of the old and the new, because, I kind of tend to think that terrestrial radio is sort of still around for, old guys like us, people who sort of grew up with that. That's what they're used to and stuff. But You know, the teenagers, the early 20s crowd, you know, I think they're a Spotify generation. They're not the idea of listening to a DJ spin records and not being able to listen to exactly what they want to listen to right at that second. You know, it's like Netflix versus television.
HBO.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. And it must be great when these young people go into a club or something like that and somebody's spinning and they have to hear a bunch of songs before they're not used to it.
Yeah, that's not my playlist.
So I wonder what that must be like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. You know, every morning I go upstairs and I turn our local radio station, one of our local radio stations on, because it's just kind of what I wake up to in the morning. But, you know, every day I can guarantee you they're going to play a handful of the same songs I heard the day before.
Of course.
Whereas, you know, with Spotify or whatever service I'm using, I can customize my own playlist and there's no ads. And, you know, I may not hear the same song for a week.
It's programmed by the best music programmer in the world. That would be you.
That's right.
Right? We all. I mean, that was the thing when the iPod first started to pop and stuff.
Right.
That was it. Everybody was like, you know, the best program director in the world is in your pocket because it's you. You're in full control now. So it's only been 15 years since the iPod. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts, man. And the world just keeps on turning. Now we got iPhones and stuff, 500 gigs of music in your phone, for heaven's sakes. Crazy. And we're all addicted and we all love them.
Yeah. Well, you know, and it is when you really sort of stand back and take a look at it, it's an interesting trajectory. You know, how we've gone from, physical media, cassette tapes, 8-tracks.
Oh yeah.
Records,
sure.
to, right. Yeah. We went from that to downloading MP3s. And then we sort of transferred that, and now it's all about streaming. I mean,
now it's streaming. We don't even for $10 a month. It's just every record in the world. If it's in print, you have access to it.
Yeah, it's a real weird feeling, and it's something that.
Well, and I think some of us have, that nostalgia factor. Like I was just, Tommy, I was pointing to Rob here. I've got a stack of vinyl LPs on the couch beside me here. I've been going through to put on my turntable. I've got a bunch of Blu-rays on the shelf across from me. Above that shelf, I've got a 1945 Northern Electric AM shortwave radio.
Nice.
So I've got some nostalgic pieces here that I still go back and listen to from time to time, right? But that's just the nostalgic part of it. The convenience part of it is let's go streaming, right?
Yep. Because there's nothing to do. Exactly. Ben Churchill and I were going through some video for something that we're working on. And it was old video cassettes. And it just blew my mind and all the moving parts and that you stick the cassette in the machine and it boom, and all these crazy things happen. Now you just hit a button and it just plays. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's and there are no moving parts.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's and imagine 70 years ago we were using tubes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
We were using tubes 70 years ago. And then we've gone to transistors and now to this.
Yeah.
Circuit boards and all this kind of stuff. It's what a trip, man. What a ride. It's a great time to be alive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
All fails.
Although
we don't know what to do.
the only thing that really makes me sort of pause about it all is just the licensing behind it all. In terms of, Spotify is not too bad because really, you're paying. It's a subscription service, and you're paying for, access to a library of music, and that's fair enough. If you don't want to own anything, but you sort of what I heard recently was a news story about Apple and how someone had bought digital movies off iTunes, and Apple, I guess, lost the licensing deal,
and his movies disappeared.
And they didn't refund him his money. He had paid whatever $25-$30 for the digital file, and they just disappeared. And Apple was like, yeah, sorry, we lost the licensing for it. So here's a coupon for not the full price of the movie. I think it was like a $5 off coupon or something lame like that.
Wow.
So you got to watch that. Like some of these services, you got to really watch the licensing behind it because you don't actually own the media. You're paying to license.
The thing you want to watch for now is copyright, because the EU just signed this proposal that will literally, you can't use anything that's not copyright, that you don't own, is essentially what this new ruling is saying. And that's going to kill the internet.
Yeah.
That's going to kill the internet. And there's another provision where you can't send links.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
See,
who knows, man? Somebody's got to do something pretty quick.
They always ruin the good stuff. Somebody always steps in and ruins it. Someone always pees in the pool, and everyone else has to get out.
The law always lags behind technology.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Way behind. So it takes them forever to figure it out, and then they do, and they goof it up. And so we'll see what happens this time.
So I want to go back and talk a little bit about YouTube, because I'm kind of fascinated by this. But sort of looking back at everything, like looking back at sort of how you began on YouTube and where that took you and where you are now. What was that ride like? What really, how did you, that success on YouTube really change your life?
I'll tell you a couple of things that were fascinating. One, the one thing that was great was when we put a video out and we just watch it sort of get views, you know what I mean? Watch it perform. And that was really exciting. That was a lot of fun. Because when things go viral, we're like, wow, like this is crazy. Look what's happening. It was thrilling. It was very exciting. And then, look, YouTube's okay. You have to think about it this way. So I worked in radio for a long time here in Connecticut. And, occasionally people would recognize my voice. They'd be on the train or at a restaurant or a bar or something and talking, and somebody go, hey, wait a minute, aren't you? And I said, yeah, that's lovely. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to meet you and that. When I was in LA, it really happened a lot. I got recognized all the time. It was weird. Because I'm used to being heard and not really seen, so that was sort of a new thing too. And so, yeah, it's been crazy. I've been recognized I've been recognized all over the world. I was recognized in Australia and Hong Kong. It's nuts. Wow. But it happens. Yeah. So that's one of the really cool things that's happened in my life that it blows my mind. And it's always so nice when people come up and say hello, and I'm always, we always grab a selfie and stuff and, have a couple of laughs. And so it's very nice. I got into an Uber one night. Some guy goes, oh my God, you're in my car. I was like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So it's fun, so that's been one of the things that's been crazy. And I'll tell you, what's another change that YouTube's made for me that this is interesting. I never liked being in front of the camera. Because I didn't know what I looked like. I'd never seen a photo of myself, so I really like it. As a child, there's not a lot of pictures of me, because I wouldn't be in them. I just refused. And now I'm totally cool with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. So that's one of the stranger sort of byproducts of YouTube that you'd have no idea about, Yeah. But it really did get me very used to the camera.
So what do you got going on other than the motivational speaking? I mean, do you have any other side projects that you're doing, or anything you're thinking about doing, or what's going on otherwise?
There's a couple of secret projects that I'm not really at liberty to talk about at the minute, but there are a couple of secret projects. So we are working on a couple of things. Ben Churchill and I are working on a couple of things. I myself am working on a couple of little secret projects too. So yeah, I can't really talk about them, but there are things coming. So when they pop, I will let you guys know, and Excellent. We can talk about it then too if you like.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. But I'd love to. Believe me, I'm gonna need to get the word out about these things. So
well, perfect. Well, anytime you want to come on, for sure, just let us know.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
So. What's the best place for people to find you these days? If not, like, is the YouTube channel even, is it still around, or is it just... Of
course. Oh, okay. No. Those videos are here forever. Okay, they're right there on YouTube. You just search and go to the Tommy Edison XP channel. You can find all the different videos that we've done. So just for a quick update, if you're new, we have two channels. The first thing I ever did on YouTube was called the Blind Film Critic, where I reviewed movies from my perspective as a blind person, somebody who's blind since birth. And then people were asking a lot of questions in the comments of those videos. So we'd launched another channel called the Tommy Edison XP. And that one is, it's, answering all sorts of questions, just as strange, nutty questions, all kinds. We do games, we do demos, there's some stories and more. So I'd love for you to check them out. Yeah, the YouTube channels are still there. Also, if you need any sort of information, blindfilmcritic.com is where all that lives.
Right.
And you can always find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Blind Film Critic, and Tommy Edison on Facebook.
Well, so no shortage of Tommy.
That's the full thing, the full gambit.
We did.
Or is it the gamut? I guess it's a gamut. It's not a gambit. It's the full gamut, right?
Yeah, I think gamut. I think that's right.
Gambit was an old quiz show hosted by Wink Martindale.
That's right.
Here in the U.S.
And an X-Men character.
Yeah, but that's how you can find me. That's on my social and stuff. And so I'm around, and as I said, I do have a couple secret projects going.
All right, well, let us know when you launch that. We want first dibs on announcing the secret projects.
You got it, baby. You got it, my friends. Thank you so much for having me. This has been great fun today, as always. Back, 90 episodes ago. So I guess we'll do this again in another 90.
Well, no, maybe. We'll see. We don't have to wait 90.
Well, if your secret's going to take that long, it'll be 90. But if your secrets are ready to be released, let us know and we'll get you back on.
No,
got it. You got it there, fellas. I appreciate you so much.
Hey, thanks, Tommy, so much. And we'll chat again soon.
You got it, pal.
Okay, bud. Take care.
Thanks, Tommy.
Until then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Whoa, he's shot out of a cannon. He is up to a lot.
Yeah, he's busy, eh?
Yeah.
Energetic.
That's too bad. I did not know that about the YouTube channel I remember.
Yeah, I saw that when I actually was looking for Tommy.
Yeah.
To get him back on. I saw that he was no longer doing that stuff.
Well, I remember last time we were talking to him, even a few months after that, I checked in at the YouTube channel and I'd seen that they were having some issues with the YouTube monetization and something about the subscriptions, like the subscriptions weren't working properly and they weren't getting subscription numbers sorted out properly. So, but I didn't realize that they just given up. And honestly, there are other YouTube content creators that have done the same, that have just jumped ship altogether and just gone to other media. So, yeah, interesting.
It is indeed, but he's motivated, he's energetic. It doesn't look like you're going to be able to slow him down anytime soon.
Oh, heck no.
No.
Hey, Ryan.
Rob.
Where can people find us?
They can find us online at www.atbanter.com.
They can also drop us an email if they so desire, atbanterpodcast@gmail.com. Hey, Ryan.
Rob.
Where can people find Canadian assistive technology?
Well, I'm glad you asked. They can find Canadian Assistive Technology at www.canastech.com. That's CANASSTECH.com.
And if you have a piece of assistive technology that is broken or its battery is dead or it just won't worky anymore, you know what? Chaos Technical Services can help you out. You can reach out to him at www.chaostechnicalservices.com. And I think that's it.
I think that's
for another week.
It is indeed.
All right, everybody. Well, you know what?
We hope you enjoyed this week's show.
What? So again, you're taking my line?
No.
You what do you mean no?
No, I'm just making a comment.
Okay, fine. You do the send off this week. I'm just saying no.
No,
do it.
No,
do it.
No, I can't do it now. You threw me off.
Thanks everybody for listening in once again, and we'll see everybody next week.
Okay,
This podcast has been brought to you by Canadian Assistive Technology, providing low vision and blindness solutions across Canada. Find us online at www.canastech.com. That's CANASSTECH.com. Or call us toll free at 1-844-795-8324. For all your assistive technology servicing needs, call Chaos Technical Services at 778-847-6840 or find them online at chaostechnicalservices.com. Music provided by bensound.com.
Whoa, look at that. Master of the White. one take.